and welcome back to the channel once again. My name is Andy and today we're on to part 2 of the Classic Cars and Motorsport series. Today we're looking at the 1991 McLaren Honda MP4-6. Now this car's historic in many ways, which we'll come into very shortly, but as always, to start the video I'd just like to thank you for watching first of all. If you haven't already done so, do hit the subscribe button, especially if you are enjoying what you're watching just now. If you do like this video, hit the like button as well, and leave any comments below as to what you'd like to see moving forward from this series, and indeed any other series that you think would be pretty cool to see. But I say today we are talking about the MP4-6 McLaren, still using the F1 2017 classic cars from the game. And this comes from the 1991 Formula 1 season, a season that brought us quite a few classic and well-known moments, from Nigel Mansell stalling the car on the final lap in Montreal, to Mansell himself giving Senna a lift back at Silverstone as the crowd erupted onto the track. It has been one of those years, but it was also the year that seen the legend that is Ayrton Senna take home his third and what would be final Drivers' Championship. The car that took him there, the MP4-6, was powered by a brandly new designed V12 engine from Honda, adding 2 extra cylinders from the previous season's V10. Many wondered why Honda had gone down this route, considering that the V10 from the year before in the McLaren MP4-5 had won both Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, but the Japanese manufacturer pressed on regardless, saying that it was going to be much more improved. So the team came into the season looking to pick up where they left off, Senna partnered by the Austrian Gerhard Berger for one more season yet again. But the domination that had occurred from the likes of the 1988 season with the previously mentioned MP4-4 were coming to an end for the Woking side. This was to be the final year McLaren won the title until we get to 1998, which we'll be coming on to later on in the series as well, as Williams were starting to pick up and become a dominant force again, and that is one that we'll be looking on to next time as well. But for the 1991 season, the team were moving forward, and the drivers though at pre-season weren't too happy with the power unit. They felt it was down on power on the previous season despite having 20 more horsepower. Honda tried to play this down, saying they had detuned the engine for pre-season, looking for reliability at the early stage of development. In essence, it was found out in Canada that the extra horsepower was required to cover the extra weight caused by the V12 engine, but Honda's decision to go for reliability over power proved to be a fruitful one. Senna would win the first 4 races of the season as the new FW14 Williams proved unreliable with all its electronic gizmos. When it moves forward into the season though, the Williams team did come back, Mansell especially showing his fiery determination to win and his outright amazing speed to do so. But as the season wore on, that reliability will once again come back to help Senna and McLaren, and the two would take home both the championships yet again, the Constructors' title being won in Honda's backyard, with Berger and Senna taking a 1-2 at Suzuka in Japan. In total, between both drivers, the car would take 8 wins out of the 16 races in the season, as both the titles were sewing up. As I say, it was Senna's last Drivers' Championship before his untimely death at the San Marino Grand Prix in 1994, which I'm sure all motorsport fans the world over remember as a very dark day indeed. But the car itself is special, because this was the last V12 to win a championship. V12 engines would hold on for another few seasons, predominantly in the back of the Ferraris, but this was to be the last championship winning V12 engine, and it was also the last time a car with a manual gearbox would win a championship as well. With all the cars moving forward, ending up with the semi-automatic flappy paddle gearboxes, a design that was brought on from Ferrari and John Barnard back in 1989, but was to be perfected very nicely initially by the Williams FW14B that we'll be looking at next time as well. But what we're going to do today is remember this car at a place that we can also remember the Brazilian maestro that drove it. And that is, of course, the streets of the Principality in Monte Carlo, Monaco. Now, this is why I didn't do this track at the 1988 MP4-4. I wanted to do something a bit different, knowing that I could still do Monaco and remember Senna at his favourite track. He won this race more times than anyone else, 6 times in total. In fact, winning it in 91 would tie him with 5 wins at the track, all time with Graham Hill, who was known in the day as Mr. Monaco himself. So what we're going to do now is do the usual 5-lap last to first challenge around Monaco, and I need to point out Monaco is not my favourite track. And that is an understatement. This actually took a few attempts to record, and stupidly enough I didn't get all the outtakes, because there's one point I'm free wide going through the Lowe's hairpin, which was, I don't know how I came out of that one. I wish I still had the clip. But what we're going to do now is get straight into the action on the starting grid and see just how well or badly I did. So here we are on the starting grid at Monaco with 5 red lights, and we are away 20 MP4-6 V12 screaming through the streets of Monaco. I bet you the sound, if it was real, would be amazing as we head into Saint-Devote, being a little bit cheeky on the curbing, but kinda needed. As I say, I'm not too keen on this track as we come up the hill into the Casino Square section. I get mixed up sometimes, I'm sorry. But come out of there, over the bump and into the right-hander. Is get by a couple of cars there, bump the car in front, which we didn't quite mean to do. And then into the Lowe's hairpin, or the Grand Hotel hairpin, whatever it's called these days. We bumped the front wing, but we're going to deal with that. And by a bit of brutality and luck, and a bit of wall riding there as well, we are into P10. Which is not too bad as we go through the tunnel. Now, can you imagine the sound of the V12 through here? That must have been deafening, and yet it's just awesome at the same time. As we come into the Nouvelle Chicane, you can see the understeer from the damaged front wing as we come up to back. This corner is awesome. Just so much good. And then the swimming pool section as well. Just brilliant corners all around. I might not enjoy the track. I might do poorly around it as we come into Rascasse. But it is just something else. These kind of cars around such a narrow space is amazing. They've come into Anthony Noakes through the final corner for the end of lap 1. But I still don't get how they're able to drive F1 cars around there as we dive up the inside into turn 1 and get that move done nicely. 20 cars of this nature around a place where it's a struggle to swing a cat almost. You know, in not literal terms obviously. It's just baffling that they can do the speeds and the lap times that they do. It's just absolutely amazing. Down into Mirabeau, second time round, and back into the hairpin again. Full lock. You hear it a lot of times, even now, that the teams actually have to put in a special steering lock for Monaco just to get round that corner. Slowest corner in the entire calendar, and the tightest one as well, but so iconic. Show anyone who knows motorsport a picture and they'll know exactly where you're talking about, as I completely make a screw up going into the chicane now. Coming down the hill. But we get away with it, just, and we're still on our way in 9th place. Bumping the wall on the way out to back, and through the swimming pool section, being a little liberal with the curbing. We've still got 2 wheels on the track technically. And one more time into Rascasse. Obviously it's been clipped the inside wall there. The Rascasse has been made a lot easier than it was in previous years, taking a bit of the land back from the sea. They've done the same with other corners to back, got a wee bit of that as well, but it's still awesome. Swimming pool was another as well, which used to be really, really tight. back in the old days, even just as recently as the 90s as well. You know, it just, they made so much claiming the land back to widen it out, so it made it safer for the cars, but for me it took away a wee bit of the challenge. It's still a challenging track, I'm sure, but those parts just made it that little bit extra special. You just could not put a foot wrong. We come into the Portier. Now this is where in the last video you heard me talking about Senna crashing out when he was 50 seconds clear. That's where he done it, just before the tunnel, and obviously he was so annoyed that he went, well, it's rumoured he went to his own apartment rather than back to the team garage. Didn't show up until they were packing up later on that night. But we're on lap 3 already, and more damage to the front wing, which is not going to help. So, you know, it's not likely we're going to get many more places even without the front wing damage, so it's a good job it's a slower speed track too. And there we go, clipping the inside again. It's 2 laps in a row, just trying to get it tight into the corner to compensate for the front wing damage, but doing myself more damage as it is. We jumped there as I had to hit pause, so ignore that. Thank you. So lap 4, Saint-Devote, usual place for a first lap pile up and up the hill again towards the Massenet and Casino Squares. Everywhere on this track is just so well known. Even where the cranes are positioned, you just see the old clips of the cranes lifting cars out of the way, and it might be to some outdated, somewhere that they shouldn't go anymore, but I still think at this time Monaco's got a place on the calendar. It's something special in a world of bland tracks that are too well thought out and too much runoff and make it too easy if the drivers make a mistake. This, even with the changes, this punishes you. You make one mistake and more often than not it's game over. You need to be on your wits' end, and with 78 laps it's not a short afternoon either. It really isn't. We're managing to hold off here. It really obviously looks like we're going to finish 9th as long as we can hold up for one more lap. P8 getting ahead and away from us due to the front wing damage. So last lap, Saint-Devote, just getting that in there. The understeer's terrible, I must point out. It was horrible trying to drive the car, but I'd made so many attempts recording it that I just stuck with it. You know, there was just, obviously wanting to get through the 5 laps, there's too many first lap incidents, so the fact that I'd got to lap 3 and 4, I was like, nah, you know what, just carry on. So massive understeer through Mirabeau, still managed to keep the cars behind us somehow, and then the lows hairpin again down towards the Portier. But a phenomenal car, the last championship car for McLaren for a number of years, until Mika Hakkinen won in '98, and that's another car later on coming up as well. The last championship winning V12, as I mentioned earlier, the last one for a manual gearbox. You can see the hand going down each time when I'm changing gears. Fantastic. And obviously, as we said, the last championship winning car for Senna, as we lose a place because of the understeer. I've now got no front wing at all. That's certainly something that Senna wouldn't have done. He would have been pinpoint accuracy. So he would have been, it's one of those things, just what would he have done if he hadn't died that day at Imola? There you go. Across the line in P10, so not the greatest race, but you know, what can you do? But that's the end of it for this week's episode. Thank you very much for watching, and once again, if you do enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe. But for now, till next time, ta-ra!